Hey everybody, I'm here with Mr. Lee for this year's Cougar Connections. Mr. Lee, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Jayden. How are you?
I'm good. So what was it like growing up in Scotland?
In Scotland, well, a lot of the things were kind of similar to here, but like in other countries, some cultural things are a little different. You know, for example, it's a lot colder in Scotland, and in Mississippi, it's much flatter than it is over here, and we have lots of, much of the buildings are much older. And one thing that a lot of Americans might not know as well is that over here, people drive on the wrong side of the road, so that's a little bit strange as well. And a lot of the food is a little different. We don't have so many fast food places where you can eat out, and there's types of food that we eat in Scotland that people don't eat here and so on. So, a lot of the things are the same. You'd be surprised about the amount of American TV shows that we have in Scotland. But there's a lot of little things that are slightly different as well.
Okay. Well, are there any educational differences between America and Scotland?
There are a few. Clearly in things like math, right? Math is pretty much the same everywhere. People bring different attitudes to math, and being a math teacher, you can kind of see that there are different attitudes that students have towards it, but the actual math is the same. The school day is a little different, right? For example, where I used to teach in the UK, which gives me kind of an interesting perspective. Like, we didn't have school buses, and people would just either walk to school or they get dropped off. And then at lunchtime, the students get an hour for lunch, and they can just do whatever during lunch. They could go home, or they could just go to the store and get something to eat at the store. They didn't have to stay on the school campus. Other than that, things were fairly similar. We start a little later and finish a little later, but overall things are kind of similar.
Okay. So did you have any interest in chess before you started the chess club?
Oh yeah, I've been playing chess since I was maybe 10 or 11 years old. I also started playing it when I was in school. We don't have middle schools in Scotland. We have what are called primary schools, which would go up to the equivalent of 7th grade. And then we have high schools, which would be from the equivalent of 8th grade through 12th grade. And I would have started playing chess, I think, when I was in the equivalent of 7th grade. And I started playing that through the school. So I guess that was what inspired me partly to start a chess club, because that was what got me interested in chess, was joining the chess club when I was in school.
Did you have any other activities that you were interested in while you were?
I played soccer. I played soccer for a long time. Even through into being an adult, I still played soccer as an amateur. I was never very good, but I always enjoyed playing soccer, and I coached soccer for a while at Northwest for 1 year. So yeah, I've always been a big fan of playing and watching soccer.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Lee, for joining us today on this year's Cougar Connections.
All right, thank you, Jayden.